Welcome back. So right now we are returning this static information right here, and that's synchronously, meaning that we are not sending a request to someone in the world and waiting for a response like we did with the Chuck Norris app. Now that's a problem when we keep working with this. We need this to be, we need to be able to kind of wait for a reply. We need to listen for some changes. We need to kind of have a way for us to make a more complex way of getting the data than what we have right now. Because it's very simple right now. We're just saying to the joke service, get the random joke. And with the joke service, he's just predefined some jokes inside memory right now. They're lying right here on my machine. So as soon as I call this, it'll be instant. I'll get the jokes right away. But it's not how it works in the real life. In real life, you're going to send a request, and at some point you're going to get some data. So we're going to wrap this inside what we call observables to kind of make it look the same as it will when we start getting data from the wire. And it's very simple actually, even though it sounds very complex. So let's just try and do it. The first thing we need to do is kind of wrap this, what we return, into an observable. I already did this with the Chuck Norris joke app, so you can go and look at observables again if you want to there. But it's pretty much just saying, I'm going to, instead of returning an actual joke right here, I'm going to return an observable that we can at some point subscribe to, right? So we can say later on we want to listen, we want to get the data for the joke. And the way that we can now do this is kind of just adding a new observable down here. We do that by actually saying observable.create for creating a new observable. That makes sense. When we create the observable, we're going to use again the fat arrow notation. So I'm going to make the observable and I'm going to say bigger than equal to bigger than sign, and then I'm going to add the curly brackets right here. There we go. Now this is this notation, you should actually get used to that because it's just the way to do it, right? The fat arrow notation is very popular, this guy right here, and it's the way to kind of say we're getting an observable on the creation here. Now what do you want to use that observable for? Now to use an observable you have to do a few things. First, what you have to do is actually you have to use the observable to say what's going to happen next. So you do the next right here. Next. I don't think it's that helpful right now. There it is. Now the next keyword is pretty much just going to say when you subscribe to me, what's going to happen? Well, when you subscribe to me, the next thing that's going to happen is I'm actually going to return a joke to you. That's what's going to happen when you subscribe to me. And then that's pretty much what the next means right here. Now we could also add another next. Then we could kind of have another request sent to me. So this is kind of a way for me to get information through a pipe. So I just keep getting the information. Every time the observable is calling next, I'll be notified, right? We'll use that later in Firebase to kind of have real-time database notation or information. So another thing you need to do with an observable to kind of complete the cycle is to say I'm complete. I'm done sending information to you because we don't have anything except this joke right here. That's the only thing we're going to return in this observable. So it's kind of overkill to make an observable here. People would kind of argue that, but it's not important right now because we just want to fake that instead of returning a joke synchronously, we return a joke now asynchronously, so we can later on, we don't have to change the code all over the place. Now our random joke is ready with actually an observable right here. Let's just remove this guy. And there we go. So that should be up and running now. Let's just see if it actually works. Where's the joke? The joke is gone. Oh no, we don't have a joke anymore. So to fix that it's not running anymore, we have to go into the home TS component right here, the home page component, and notice we have an error right here because it says you have a joke right here, but you're not returning a joke anymore, are you? You're returning an observable with a joke inside it. So we have to grab that joke from the observable, and we do that again by calling the subscribe function. So let me just get this out of the way, and then I'll call the subscribe function. And in the subscribe now, I'll get the next. And in our case, the next is going to be a joke, but let's just call it result right now. Fat arrow notation, and notice this is the next. And this is why it says next right here. That's just a helper explaining this is the next result you'll get when you subscribe. And then we can go in here and add the curly brackets like we've done a few other times, and then we can say this, the joke is going to be equal to the result that we're going to get returned. Right? I know this is kind of complex, but just play with it. And let's just have a look at the joke service again, because here we're saying the next is going to be a random joke, right? And here we're saying the random joke is going to come in here now. Let's just call it random joke just to make it even easier for you to see the same thing right here. The random joke is going to be the joke that we're putting in here now, and we're going to present it in our UI, hopefully, if it doesn't explode. And there we go. Now we have a random joke. Sweet! So that's kind of how you make an observable instead of just using synchronous calls We can now start doing funny things with this observable if we want to, like delaying it and stuff like that, but let's just keep it like this for now. See you in the next lesson. Have fun.